Okay, so I'm down at the hub today with Macca, Paul McNally, City of Liverpool manager now. Been in the role a couple of months. Paul, how's it going?
Table say different, but it's not going too bad, to be fair. We're 13th at the minute. When I took over, we were rock bottom with 0 points. I think we're 34 points now. The aim is just basically to stay in the league this season and see where we can go next season and push on. That's the league's that tight, to be fair. It's you could go from, so last week we were 10th.
Yeah.
We got beat on Saturday, so we go to 13th. If we'd have won, we would have went 7th.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's that tight. It's probably a swing of about 6 points between 7th and 18th.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's really just about taking, can we get the next points on the board? But we've got 10 games from now till the end of the season, and it's the toughest running you could have asked for.
Yeah.
Macclesfield away, Runcorn Linnets at home, we've got Clitheroe at home Saturday. Probably the toughest 10 games you could have asked for. So it's not an easy task, but we're just going to keep doing what we're doing.
Wonder why you do it, you football managers, mate.
We're just mad, aren't we? Slowly lose the air, or it goes grey, and you just start losing your marbles, don't you? You're taking the stresses home of players every day, aren't you?
Can't live with it, but you can't live without it, can you?
That's exactly what it is, and you've had previous managers on, and it's just everything resonates with what they say, do you know what I mean? And they're higher managers, and they're like, I'm just listening to them thinking, that's everything that we're like, do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm like, and sleepless nights sometimes, and look, we live for it, don't we? If we didn't do it, we'd be twiddling our thumbs, going shopping, or watching games, and then wanting to be back involved, wouldn't we?
I think these are the ones, like, I mean, I always say these are the ones that I don't miss, like Thursday night, you've got home from work, had your tea, you're quite happy sitting on the couch, and then you go, oh, hell, we've got to go to training. But the other side of the coin is it makes it so worthwhile when you do reach them targets, or you are in the promotion place. Obviously, you'll have had that experience at Skem, and when you get to the end of the season and you got the prize, it does make all these.
Look, that's what pushes you on the Tuesdays, Thursday nights. They're your bread and butter, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? They go unnoticed. No one sees the work that you do on a Tuesday and Thursday night. It's just all about the end goal on a Saturday, and you're a hero for 90 minutes, or you're a zero for 90 minutes, and the work that you put in goes to that. Do you know what I mean? And if we didn't do that, then I don't know what would we be doing in the week. Do you know what I mean? As you've just said, you'd have to pick yourself up sometimes to go on a Tuesday night. Liverpool are playing, do you know what I mean? We still trained here. Do you know what I mean? They're playing Real Madrid, but we're still training outside there, do you know what I mean?
Good one to miss in the end.
It was eventually, but things like that, do you know what I mean? You miss them games, and you miss going to match sometimes on Saturdays, do you know what I mean? But we choose what we do, and I'd like to think we're good at what we do, do you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter, we're all the same, do you know what I mean? We all do the same job, whether we're good or bad, do you know what I mean? We all live for Saturdays and Tuesdays,
I say this quite often, and obviously like you alluded to there, we've had the likes of John Coleman on, who's done it at this level, had to work hard at this level to get himself to that level, but you can't, I say to people a lot, what the lads basically get at this level is expenses.
That is it. It's,
if you'd actually rationed it into hours that you put into it, you'd probably be on less than minimum wage.
It would be less than that, wouldn't it? It's like there's figures getting bandied around football nowadays, and extravagant numbers, and that's because of, obviously, you've got big teams that have come in the league, full-time teams like Macclesfield. Then you go up the leagues, you've got South Shields in them. They can pay all that, but then other teams are trying to catch up with them. But as you've just factored in, when you do the hours that we do, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, it doesn't really add up a lot, does it? And people are like, oh, I could do that. Oh, great stuff, it's thingy. But when you actually come down to it, they go, I can't do it. Do you know what I mean? We're driving up and down motorways.
The other side of it as well is the other side that people don't see is most managers are never off the phone, whether they're speaking to other managers, whether they're speaking to players or whatever. They don't realise that, there's all that to factor into it as well.
Just before we were speaking here, my phone, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? We're constantly, it's 24/7 our job. I'll go home and my text still be going, I'll still be phoning people even as late as 11 o'clock. You'll still be speaking to other managers or other players. It's never ending, and that's at our level. And imagine how intense it is at John Coleman's level, a higher level. Imagine how intense. The only saving grace is they've got other people around them, a support mechanism around them, whereas we haven't. I've just got me and my staff. And I speak to the chairman, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot harder, as you know yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, I think a lot of people, they'll probably listen or watch a couple of the podcasts that we've done and that, but whether it's at League One level, whether it's at Conference level, or whether it's at Northern Prem level, the fundamentals are very much similar. You've still got to do all that donkey work and the long hours and that.
They have. The only thing, the ones at the higher level, echelons, is they're on a better platform. They've got better players to work with. That's no disrespect to our levels. They probably are on another level to us. Do you know what I mean? Tactically more switched on. They know how to manage people a bit better. And they've had the right pathways, do you know what I mean? But they all start somewhere. And
definitely.
Like I say, and like you've had previous managers on, and they're all role models, to be fair, do you know what I mean? Every one of them, you look at them and you just think, look, I know B's quite well, do you know what I mean? He's a boss man, boss fella. And where they're at, do you know what I mean? It's only a division above, but they've just got a nice way of going about it, do you know what I mean? The higher you go up, the better the people are, I always feel, do you know what I mean? That's no disrespect to anyone at the lower levels. You find sometimes people are a bit arsey in the lower levels. They're a bit more...
I think we've all come across a few
bellends.
Most definitely, I think that's very fair to say.
I'm not going to name names, but no, just that's how it is, you know, like it can be a little bit more, I don't know, personal at lower levels, can't it? Whereas they go through it and they're at a better level, aren't they?
Yeah, most definitely.
But they've earned that right, I feel. I'm not going to disregard that, what I mean?
Yeah, I think the thing is now you've got to turn yourself into a good manager. You don't get jobs, do you, now, without... I mean, you look at... Some people do. We won't name names, but they know. No. But, you know, you look at... I always said sort of about, like, you don't see a conference manager, very rarely, who gets a chance taken on them by, like, a League One side or a League Two side. You'll see in the Championship they'll take a chance on a League Two manager or a League One manager, but you know you have to turn yourself from a non-league manager into a league manager, and I think this non-league that we all love and do, and it's a wacky thing, but it's a great grounding for a manager if you can, you know, like yourself, Paul. You've had promotion with the Remy, Liverpool and Remica. Camel Aird, Skelmersdale United. You know, it's a brilliant ground in non-league, and them experiences must have set you up for...
Oh, listen, fantastic, Tom. I'm a different manager, and I've spoke previously, I'm a different manager to when I was Camel Aird's manager, I'm a different manager to when I was Remica manager, I'm a different manager to when I was Skem, no, because it's probably quite recent, but I've got different experiences from all of them, do you know what I mean? And without them, you don't become the person or the manager you are, do you know what I mean? You learn to deal with things differently. There's things now that I deal with that I probably couldn't have dealt with back then, do you know what I mean? But I've said on previous ones that I've been on, if you don't get sacked, you don't learn.
No.
And I no one should ever want to sack, do you know what I mean? But I got sacked at Camel Aids, and then you reflect on things and you move forward, and then you go again then, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes some people don't get back on that bike, do you know what I mean? Or they don't get the opportunity. I'm always grateful for that.
I was saying to somebody the other day, but Brian Richardson, funnily enough, and one thing that does baffle me with people who they've had a job, say, and like I say, you're not naming names, but they know who they are, and they'll get the sack, and the team will go with them. So the backroom team, their assistant manager or the first team coach, whoever it is, that group of support staff, they go with them, and then they'll get another job in the same league, and they'll go and sign the same players that got them the sack and use the same team. And you think, why? And they'll do this 3 or 4 times. You're thinking, that's the definition. I always say, it's the definition of insanity.
Doing the same thing
over and over again,
so
and expecting a different outcome.
Quote is permanently in my head of like, when I am managing, so you've got your own playing style.
Yeah.
And sometimes when things aren't going well, you're thinking, do you revert back to type? Do you go back to how you learned, how you're effective and hard to beat?
Yeah.
And then you think, no, there's a reason for that. You've got to progress. You can't stand still. You become a dinosaur in this game.
Yeah.
Very, very fast, because there's some fantastic managers below and coming through, and some fantastic coaches coming through that can just go bang above you, and before you know it, you're fish and chip paper. Do you know what I mean? And that's the crying shame of the game that we're in. But I do think, the insanity quote it's always permanently etched in my head, that doing the same thing over and over. You try to avoid that.
But you see, I've seen it with certain managers in the Northern Premier League even. And they'll get the sack somewhere, and they'll bring in they get the next job.
I think it's more a case of knowing what they are, trusting them players and trusting them, and having a group, and if they're successful, by all means. If they're not successful, maybe open your player pool a little bit, and maybe the player pool isn't. I can't speak for other managers, but I've got trust in the players that I know of. Do you know what I mean? That I've
the difference
been good for
being
me.
With you've been successful.
You know, we all have to make an omelette. Sometimes you have to crack a few eggs, don't you? And we've all had our share of players who haven't worked out for you. Do you know what I mean? And you've maybe upset them, they've upset you, but sometimes it's hard to get a good group of lads. It really is.
And so, as we move into, like, obviously your managerial career as it is, Paul, what's shaped you today? What if you were to sort of pick out a few things that has shaped Paul McNally as a manager, and the fundamentals of what you probably need to have in place in your own mind to say, well, I'm going into City, Liverpool, or I'm going into Camberlade. This is what I want, and this is how I want us to play. What's your approach to it?
So, we obviously have our philosophy, do you know what I mean? I can't delve too much into how we play, but it's fairly obvious that I like to play with wingers, do you know what I mean? I like to be attacking on the front foot. So, coming into the year, look, it's hard. They were on 0 points, and my philosophy was, at Schem, let's attack. Sometimes it can be to the detriment, but I'm coming in here and I'm having what on paper is a better squad. But we had to change that style. We quickly, sometimes they couldn't play to the tempo that we wanted to, and that's no offence to them, but we changed the personnel, we changed how we wanted to play. That's the first thing, getting to know the players as well, basically you're implementing your methods on them, which doesn't happen overnight, and it really didn't happen overnight, and that's no offence to anyone at this club, but they're the first things. There's a person who did shape me as a manager at early days, and he's a good friend of mine, Sonny Sullivan, as you know.
Mad as a box of
mad as a box of frog. He shaped me in a good way. Because I learned from him. I was underneath him, like when he was successful in the Evo stick to the great Schem team that you were involved with, and I was assistant coach then to him, and I learned from him because I learned how to do things, but how not to do things as well, if that makes sense. And that's not a criticism, because I think he's a fantastic manager at what he did, but I learned from him.
I think all of us, whoever's worked with managers or different managers, and I think we always take the good points, but we take the bad points as well and say, well, I wouldn't have done that, or I might have done that a little bit different.
And look, he got a team second in the league, do you know what I mean? And then 10th in the league the year after.
Remarkable, really. That
it was fantastic what he did, and it was built just on team spirit, and that alone is what I took from that, do you know what I mean? Some of his decisions, maybe I didn't agree with at times, and I did say that to him, but they were always right, do you know what I mean? They always worked out for the team, but he had a fantastic group of players that would have ran through brick walls for him, and that's the biggest compliment I can take for him, do you know what I mean? And that's what I try to build at my club.
Yeah.
Bit of a camaraderie.
Well, you said about him shaping you, and I must admit, I had to share a room with him in down in Dover.
No, that would shape you.
No, I'll leave it at that.
That's a shape in itself.
Definitely. But he's a top bloke, and
yeah.
He's at Prescott now, isn't he? So
yes, he's gone to Prescott. He was at Lower Brecon. But going back to how I want my teams to play, or what shapes me, it is a good question, that, and it's also a hard one as well, because it's just experiences of managing in general, like I've just said, alluding to getting to the sack.
Yeah.
It's unexpected. I got them promoted. They were 14th or 15th in the league. They weren't expected to get promoted again. We were in 3 cup quarter-finals, and I just got the 9-10 jack, do you know what I mean? But it was more personal. It was the first one. My son's only young, and he's getting home and finding out I'm sacked on Twitter, do you know what I mean? He adored the club. But things like that is like, it shapes you then, because you become a little bit more, how can I put it, bit more stronger minded, a bit more like, it's not a little fantasy story, do you know what I mean? You think that everything's going to be nice and that, and everyone's true to the word.
Yeah.
Not everyone is.
I think, sort of touching on like the experience of when of a sacking, and you quickly realise, I mean, we were at Skem for 11, 12 years, and when it happened to us, and you realise not to be loyal. Yeah, but don't be too loyal.
See, that word gets bandied around, like,
but it works 2 ways.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't like mentioning Skem, obviously, but everywhere I've been, I've always been quite loyal to my clubs, do you know what I mean? And I'd like to think they were quite loyal to me, but it's always, you're loyal.
Yeah.
You have to be loyal.
Yeah.
Clubs aren't loyal to us.
Right.
And I don't mean that being horrible about clubs. They quickly sack you if you're not good enough.
Yeah.
They quickly sack you if they don't like you.
Yeah.
But the minute that you progress and try to move, or you want to better yourself, you're not loyal.
Yeah. You don't know.
But if a player leaves and they might be a very good player, and that, like, they might not be great, but they might move on somewhere, and they're all very loyal player, great, but they haven't given as much services as you have, do you know what I mean? And they haven't done half as much as you have, but you're disloyal.
Yeah. Well, and
that's not a jibe at Skem, by the way, but that's just, it's in general, that's a thing, because I am getting called disloyal anyway by Skem fans anyway, but that's entirely different.
Well, I think, like I was saying there, where it goes 2 ways. I mean, people always expect, like, when you're doing well and everything, they want you to be loyal. Yeah. But then when when you hit a little blip, or hit the rocks or whatever, and you're looking for that little bit of loyalty back then off boards, and it doesn't happen much.
No, it doesn't. There's been some. You'll go from now till the end of the season. There'll probably be 1 or 2 managers you go, whoa, where did that come from? Yeah. Why have they left there, or why have they been sacked? Yeah. It happens. How many managers have been sacked this season? Do you know what I mean? And you're like, wow, where's the loyalty? Where's the continuity? Yeah. Brian Richardson is the most one for me. A very great manager, do you know what I mean? A great fella. Yeah. Been sacked 4 games into the season. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Which they've all got their own reasons, but like, only he knows what's going on, and only they know. Do you know what I mean? But it's madness, because he's a great manager. Do you know what I mean? And any club would have him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Especially like looking at what he'd done the previous season when he come in, and you're looking for that loyalty back. Then I'm having a tough time. Give me a bit of loyalty back now, But it is, as you've said, a 2-way thing, and I don't often think it is a 2-way thing. I think it's bandied round very. It goes social media, isn't it? It's social media that brings a lot of pressure on clubs, I feel. Yeah. Some random person just says he's not good. Yeah. He's a crap. Blah blah blah. The next thing, someone's saying to you, "Come on, you've got to do this, you've got to do that," and you're like, "What?" Because some black characters just made it up on Twitter. It was never ever. When I'm going back sort of like 15 years ago, it was never ever a real thing in non-league football, a sacking. A manager used to leave or whatever, but it wasn't ever
a manager would get a lot of time in non-league years back.
A lot of time.
And I think they
only leave on their own accord.
Yeah,
really,
they would,
now and again, do you know what I mean? They get the odds one who sacked, but nothing.
I think the growth of social media, don't get me wrong,
it's become like the Premier League. I feel like it's...
People are obsessed with... The three things football fans are obsessed with now is getting their own opinion out there, number one. Number two is transfers. People are absolutely balmy about transfers.
Footy manager at non-league.
People are balmy about transfers. And the third thing is, like I say, having a pop at managers. And it's like, you know, come on, it's...
I try not to engage much on social media, and it's with that in mind. So I look at it, do you know what I mean? But it's not really something that I like to delve into, because you're arguing with someone that's not there, do you know what I mean? And you see these people, or you'll speak to them and they'll be nice as pie to you. They'll be congratulating you when you're doing well. They'll be also sticking a knife in when you're not doing well, and that's the fickle side of our game. And
it's very
that is Premier League level.
But
we're not at Premier League level. We're just normal people. That's what I'm saying. We're
trying your best.
Trying our best. Just doing what other people want to do, and if they can do it, try it. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd say try it, but we're in this position for a reason.
Well,
it's not because we're blaggers or we're cowboys. Do you know what I mean? We've earned the stripes. I've done my time. Right from, I've learned an apprenticeship, as they say, even from playing right through to being a manager, coaching, assistant, manager. I still coach now, do you know what I mean? Even though I'm a manager, I still coach my son's lower Brech under 18s. Still coach my son's under 9s team. So we're constantly still doing the game that we love, aren't we?
Most definitely.
But the managing side is, like, because we're at this level that we're at, do you know what I mean? People think that we're Jurgen Klopp or we're Carlo Ancelotti, and they can abuse us or they can say whatever, do you know what I mean? That's the side that's not nice, because your kids see that. Well, your wife sees that.
100%, and it'd be something we'll go into in a little bit, but that side of things. But I just wanted to... So you were obviously Sully's assistant at Leeds when that successful team was there and everything, that finished second behind Skem, wasn't it, that season?
The best Skem side, and I'll go on paper as saying the best Skem side I've seen.
Unbelievable.
One of the best non-league football teams I've seen. They were fantastic. And that might be, some people might laugh at me for saying that, but look, I can remember Matty Hughes making his debut against us, and they beat us 6-0.
Remember that? Remember it.
Pulled them up from a St Helens team.
It was Goulburn Sports or something like that.
And the kid was absolutely awesome. And bear in mind, we weren't no mugs, and they absolutely tore us apart, and we were like, wow. So that team doesn't get enough credit, I feel, and I've been Skem manager, and it doesn't get enough credit. And Tommy probably doesn't get enough credit.
No, definitely not.
Doesn't get enough credit for what he did. I still, and I used to like say it, even in the FA Cup run for us, he's the best manager they've had. And that was me saying that, do you know what I mean? And I couldn't do what he's done, do you know what I mean? He's won the league. He's won he's near enough got them into the Conference North at some one point, didn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Quite scary, that.
And that's how. But that team, though, I just look at that as the barometer. That was how I wanted my teams to play, because they were exciting. You had wingers playing. They were as good as.
Always on the front foot.
Always on the front foot. Side. They had everything, didn't they? And like I say, that team won that league, and deservedly so. And then went up higher. Do you know what I mean? But like I say, he doesn't probably get enough credit. No, do you know what I mean? And that's not me being up his backside, and that he really doesn't.
Still trying to get him on, but he's not having it.
Listen, I spoke to him at a low Brech game a couple of weeks ago, and it's the first time I spoke to him for probably since I was Camel Leeds manager, and I felt like I couldn't speak to him when I was the Skem manager, and that's because he was the manager previously and what had happened, and I felt like I couldn't, but we had a good chat, and his number's still in my phone, do you know what I mean? And he said if there's anything he can help with, and like I say,
and do you know what? He's genuine with that, because isn't it funny? You do come across people and you think, nah, but with Tommy there, he wants to see younger managers get on, and he wants to see people do well.
He's got a fantastic eye for a player, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean? So I think what he's doing now is obviously he's scouting, isn't he? So I think second to none, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just reels off players' names to me just like that, and I knew the players, but I knew and he just reeled off younger ones, do you know what I mean? So he's got his finger on the pulse, and that's the biggest compliment I can give.
I remember going to watch Newbury, and Connor Woods was playing for Newbury, and Connor had played for me when I was under-18s manager at Scam, and he was always been a fantastic talent. Connor, always been a really good player, but you just see that, you know, when they get to that 18, 19 stage where, you know, start playing with the mates and stuff. And I always remember him saying it was like an early summer game or something like that. They were in a cup final. It was like summertime, right at the end of the season, blazing hot day. And I remember him saying to me, he said, do you fancy going to Newbury and having a couple of pints? Because we live round the corner from the ground. And we said, yeah, and we went watching, and he stood behind a goal and he watched Connor for a bit, and he said, I watched him last week, you know, and he said, I'm going to recommend him to Liam. And even I said, it's a bit of a jump, innit? You know what I mean?
But we all say that though, don't we? And that's...
But he took the chance and he said to Liam, look at him. And then I remember, I think he spoke to Connor and said, listen, I've got you the opportunity. The rest's up to you.
Yeah.
And Connor went in and Connor got himself a deal at Southport by working hard. But it is there if people want to do it, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, you're right. There's kids that we try to have. We've got under 18s with us, and it's just being brave enough to give them the opportunity. Do you know what I mean? It is. It's you've got to look for the next younger ones to come through, because the older ones, it's quickly they phase out. Don't they? Do you know what I mean? And as much as you can have a good group quickly, they can get old. It goes high as Liverpool, do you know what I mean? Look at their aging team now.
Yeah,
they've
got old together, like,
and like, you can be successful for so long, but you've got to keep renewing and finding the next best talent. And
so when obviously there was things happened at Leeds, and they ended up going coming back as Camilla, like 1907, isn't it? Something like that. Yeah,
they reformed as that. Yeah. That's when I took over. Well, Sully went
manager.
To Witten, didn't he?
Sully goes to Witten, and then that's your first sort of proper managerial position.
It was the crossroads then, from do I make the jump or do I be an assistant / coach for the rest of my life? Yeah. He did ask me to go to Witten with him. Right. I actually sat at a Witten game with him, met Mark Harris, the chairman, and that. And Kev Hodgson was with me, and the three of us were sitting there. And then I got a phone call off the chairman, Frank Ames. Would I take over interim? Sully was going, do it. Mm. And I was like, in two minds, but I just felt I needed to make that jump. And if it wasn't good, I'd always go and be a coach again. Do you know what I mean? That was me gut, but I've done it, and the team I had was a fantastic team, to be fair. Joey Gibbelair playing, John Couch, Danny O'Brien, Grogan had just left, he'd gone to Telford. We had like Craig Cairns, do you know what I mean? I had a team that should win that league, but Adam Colleries were in that league at the same time, and
I remember
they were coming through, and they finished top. We finished second to them.
Must have been two runaway sides there.
Runaway, I think they were 30 points ahead of the third place team, which was Darwin.
Right.
I think they finished, was it 81 points we finished on? And I think they finished on 90, something like that, do you know what I mean? It was that close. But the division was only smaller then, do you know what I mean? So we got
any other season, you'd probably won the league, wouldn't you?
You know? It, do you know what I mean? And we caught them at that time, so Sully was in charge for the first 5 or 6 games, and we were stuttering at the start. We weren't pulling up trees, and then we went on a run. That culminated, obviously, we went to Adam Colleries on December the 20th, something like that, and we drew 2-2.
Yeah.
And I thought we were going to win it, and if we'd have won that, I think we'd have pushed on to go and win the league. But they never lost either, and we never hardly lost, do you know what I mean? It was that far. And we ended up getting promoted at... we played Oldham Borough and beat them 5-0 and got promoted in, like, I think it was March, do you know what I mean? We were promoted and job done as far as I was concerned, just get them promoted.
What was that like at that time? Because it's your first, you know, your name's above the door, you're the manager. Yeah. But what's that like then to go, is it like I remember as mad as it sounds, because the only thing I can relate it to go back to it is managing the 18s at Skem. But I remember when we won the league, and for me at the time, I remember it was just like a monkey off your back a bit, you know, like
they're getting promoted because we were expected to get promoted. The team that we were in the Evo stick at the time, we've come down, we've not lost anyone. I think we might have lost one player or two players, but nothing major, do you know what I mean? And you're thinking, we should walk this league, should walk the next league, but it doesn't work like that, and teams play 10-20% more against you, do you know what I mean? So you're going to places like Oldham Borough, as I say, Flixton Villa, Northwich, Flixton and all that, and they're unknown teams. They've got raw players that are now playing at this level and higher, do you know what I mean? So
you look at like Jordan Buckley at Warrington.
Yeah, I think he was at Earlham, and he was fantastic at Earlham, do you know what I mean? So there is diamonds down there, and your disrespect when you're in this league is, well, they're not good enough, but they are.
Yeah.
So you're then going to them places, and it's tough, and they're making it horrible, and then it's just getting through it. But as you've just alluded to there, the group that I had, Joey Gibbeleru, fantastic player, do you know what I mean? Craig Cairns.
With the right level of experience as well, they played higher.
They were a very, very experienced team that I took over. Freddie Potter was up front, do you know what I mean? And you got that group and you're like, this is my first gig here, and I can't make a mess of this, do you know what I mean? But everything that I asked of them lads, they took on board, they did, just as much as they did for Sully, and that's the greatest respect I can give to them, that they were fantastic for me that season, and I made a couple of my own signings. I brought like Jamie Enders in and all that, he was come back, and we pushed on. But the next season was even harder, because as soon as I got promoted, people are then thinking, and I did think myself we could have a go for the league, because it kept everyone, or most of them, but the budget just got pulled.
Right.
Literally in the first week of the season, I think it went from like, I had a £500 budget in that division, in the first division.
Yeah.
It's £500 crazy now when you look at things.
Oh yeah.
And then when we went up to the next division, I think they gave me £700 or £800.
Right.
They quickly pulled that to, it was like it had to be scaled down within a week of the season, and I was like, I'm going to lose players, and you slowly lose them, and you're never getting that same quality back then, because you're fighting a battle and you're fighting people who are, why is he left?
Yeah.
The biggest player that left me was Freddie Potter. He left me on the Boxing Day, and he signed for Runcorn Linnet, and he was on £25.
Wow.
And he wanted, I'll tell you on there, £50, which he was worth that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't match that at the time, and he sat outside my house on Boxing Day morning. He sat outside my house and he was saying, I want to stay, Macca. And I said, I can't give you it, I want to, but I can't.
Yeah.
And he went, and after that, I realised that you can't let big players go.
Yeah.
Because it then bit me on the backside later down the line, because we weren't as effective even in the next season, and it sends out the wrong message then.
Yeah.
You're letting a big player go, that's essential to that. You can't do that. And I've always, at every club I've been at, I've always tried to bear that in mind. Don't let your bigger players go, no matter how much, whether they're doing it or not, it sends the wrong message out. And that's what I've tried to always do, you know what I mean? Keep that. You can't always keep them, because circumstances dictate sometimes that X, Y and Z's offer them more money, isn't it? Or they're going to go either way, or they're going to retire or something.
Must have been heartbreaking though when you're thinking it's 25
Freddie Potter for 25 quid. Craig Cairns, so, like, all them lads, and no word of a lie, them lads were on £25 for Camel Laird's. They'd been in Evo sticks, and they weren't on a lot of money then, so competing against Adam Colleries, who we didn't know of at that time, with Cleggy, and his lads are on similar money apparently, do you know what I mean? And we're competing with them, we've got the bigger name, so we're expected to do better, and there was more pressure on us, I feel. But look, Cleggy and his Adam Cole's team then went bang. The next season after they recuperated.
They went again, didn't they?
They didn't go up that next season, but they had a go. He recuperated, signed a few more players. The next season he went up again, and then he went again. Then didn't he? it's no great shame to finish second to them, I don't think, do you know what I mean?
It must be quite like, it must piss you off to a degree, because, I mean, how many times do you see, I mean, I'm adamant, and I'm sure you probably back me up here on this, I'm adamant that Skem side that won the Evo Stick First Division, as it was, I'm adamant if that budget wasn't cut like it was, well, not the budget wasn't cut.
It got cut halfway through the Prem Division.
Well, when Skem won the league, when they won the league, there was no conversation, or there was no increase of budget as they went into the Premier Division. And I'm honest, if I think they could have kept hold of it, if Tommy could have kept that side, there is no doubt in my mind, because they'd have bounced again. Because you'd seen all the sides that had done it, FC United, you know, Kings Lane, all they bounce and then bounce again.
The saying is, isn't it, a promoted team has got a winning habit, hasn't it? I had that at Skem.
Yeah.
So you go into this season and you're looking and you're going, whoa, tough league, but you've got a winning habit, a winning momentum, and sort of it can take you to higher levels, do you know what I mean? And there's no fear as well, because you don't know really the teams.
And you're an unknown quantity.
That's exactly what it is. So yeah, I do believe that what you've just said, and that team wasn't Evo Stick standard by no means. That was, and it's shown, because how many of them went on to play higher, how many of them went on to go into the league, do you know what I mean?
And Paul Walcott, because the big time, I think the rivals in the Premier Division were Chorley, you know,
and now look where they are.
Yeah, and Paul Walcott went to them and then won that league, the Premier Division, but that must, like I say, that must have had an adverse effect on you, because you must have thought, if I can keep this side together, throw a few more to it, we can bounce again.
All I thought was, look, I've been given an opportunity because Sully's gone on. I was fighting Sully half the time because he was saying, I want some of my players, which I understood. But none of them wanted to go, and he only took one. He took Danny O'Brien with him.
Yeah.
And I've had this conversation with him since. I said the biggest mistake he made, and he's even admitted it, was not taking any of them lads that trust, whether they were good enough or not irrelevant, to get his dressing room. And he knows that, but they didn't want to go, they wanted to stay, they were happy where they was. And you're right what you're saying, I wanted to go through the next leagues, but when budgets get cut and things like that, people don't see that from the outside. They just see what's gone on there, he's a crap manager, or why are they getting beat, do you know what I mean? They don't know the fundamentals that go on Tuesday, Thursday, that you're arguing, and they don't want to see it sometimes. Yeah, you're right, and look, I understand if a club's got no money, they've got no money, do you know what I mean? But they tell you, don't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can't just be, we're good 1 minute and the next minute pull the rug from underneath your feet. That's not happening.
So what's the conversation with it when it because it comes to an end, because you end up, obviously you moved on to Liverpool as well.
It was at training I got the bullet, like I went to training on a Tuesday night, and Chairman Frank Games, boss fella, pulled me in and he just said, look, we've had a meeting last night and the board have decided to let you go. And I was like, so you've let me know last night then, couldn't you? But they've done that, and Sully ends up going back, do you know what I mean? Which is, we've had our disagreements, we had our fallings out, but that was us, do you know what I mean? He was always going to go back because he was the main man there, the legend there, wasn't he, for them? But it was just how it was done, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The hardest thing that I've ever had to do in football was go and stand in front of me players and tell them that I've been sacked. I felt like crying.
Yeah.
And not crying, like, it was more out of embarrassment that I'm saying, I'm sacked, lads. And they were like, are you messing? And I've got to go home with some of them lads.
Yeah.
And then I see them still around and they're still playing now, and you're a bit gutted a bit.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, well, I've been sacked. What are you doing? Why don't you
human
leave?
Nature, innit?
But they've got to play, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? And that's what I used to say to someone, just carry on. But then the truer picture from that was at the end of the season, they all left. And Sully left as well, do you know what I mean? So that was the bigger picture. They kept them in the league, and then I don't think they've really, it's not a slight on the team, but I don't think they've really done much since, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's politics in football. Sometimes your face doesn't fit, or...
Yeah.
you're not the one that they wanted or whatever, do you know what I mean? Or someone's pulling a cog or a wheel behind you that you don't know of.
But you quickly move on and end up at Little and Remica.
Yeah.
And then get another. So get another notch on the
Little
wall.
and Remica they're a good club and that, and I got the promotion there, do you know what I mean? And the goal was for that. I had a similar budget to what I had at Camel Aids, and budgets were getting higher then, do you remember? I said, I can get you out of this league with that. We finished second to Silsden on, I think we were on 99 points, Silsden were on 100, 101. Went to the last day of the season to win the league, do you know what I mean? But we were promoted earlier doors, so yeah, they were a good side and I had some good players, and I kept the core of what Staffo had there. He built most of the team, but then I added to them, so I added Matty Hamilton to the team. I added, Luke Holden was playing, he was flying for us. There was other lads that I added, Steve Ferrigan I brought in. Lads who were with that level and above, do you know what I mean? So
just give you that bit to just get over the line.
Sometimes it just, and I got the best out of them lads, do you know what I mean? We were training consistent, we were training Tuesday, Thursday religiously. We were regimented in how we trained, and we smashed it, to be fair, do you know what I mean?
When you're going for them promotions and that, and like we were saying before about this time of the year, or just a bit closer to Christmas when it's cold and wet and that, and you're like, but when you're going for a title, like in this area that we're in now, where there's 10, 12 games to go, you bounce into training, don't you? You can't wait to get there, can you?
You're there and there's 20, 30 lads sometimes. There's lads who aren't even playing for you who are there, and they're like, and everything's on fire, and don't get me wrong, you have your battles as well, do you know what I mean? Everything's still not always rosy everywhere, but you're just looking at the next game, the next goal, and that's it. And that's where you drive through that, don't you? Do you know what I mean? I think you can't pick where you want to be, but you obviously, there's no pressure when you're at the top that way, do you know what I mean? There's worse pressure down the bottom, and like I say, that's where you want to be all the time, isn't it?
Yeah. How did you enjoy your time there then?
I enjoyed it. There's some good people there. I enjoyed it, and my time I left there at the end of the season. We parted, but I was always never going to stay there for the next season. It was more of when we've had the chat, it was, they wanted to do one thing, I wanted to go. I didn't feel that we were capable of challenging in the Premier Division with the team we had. And I'd have to have an overhaul, and they were aging a little bit, so I had to have an overhaul, and I had a couple of lads coming in, but they didn't want to go in that direction. They wanted to keep the same lads, the same core, because that's what they built around. And we had a disagreement a little bit over it, and we parted ways on that, do you know what I mean? Mutual sort of thing, although they knew I was going before that and give me the little bullets again. But
it's great that mutual line.
You get promoted, but you get the bullets still, do you know what I mean? But it didn't hurt as bad as the Camel Aids one. I think that one took the sting out of me, because I did like it there, and I didn't ever really think I'd want to manage anywhere else after that, do you know what I mean? I was happy just being there, do you know what I mean? But the Remica one was just like, I've done my job. If I never got them promoted and they didn't go up, then I wouldn't have done my job, and I would have been gutted then, do you know what I mean? So I'd done my job, and it was like a business deal. You move on then, do you know what I mean? So
there's no real affinity to it.
No, I like the people there, do you know what I mean? And the good people, and I still see them now and that, and it's just, we were moving in different directions. I wanted to go here. They still wanted to go there, but they wanted to do it in their way, and I didn't. I wanted to be in my way, do you know what I mean? And that's all it was. But no, good people and that, and like I say, I still speak to some of them now.
And then you have sort of like, do you have like
I have a little hiatus from...
How long was you sort of...
So from, was it the pre-season I missed.
That's not bad. Don't mind missing a pre-season, do you?
Listen, I was itching. I wasn't at first. I was like, do you know what? This is sound. This. Getting to spend loads of time with the kids and that. And then I was back in November.
No brown envelopes out in pre-season, no Mac.
But I was watching, exactly, but I was watching games. So here I spoke to Craig Cairns and Joe Alt, when these were in the northwest counties, and I spoke to the chairman and said, look, would you be interested in Craig Cairns and Joe Alt? And he was like 100%, so I passed his number over, do you know what I mean? So I was half influential in passing him on before I was even the manager, do you know what I mean? But I won't take credit for that, I'm just passing the number on to the player, do you know what I mean? But like I say, I watched some of these games, I watched Bootle's games, I was going, nah, watching games, because you're just like, let's go and watch that on a Saturday.
Just keeping your eye in, aren't you? Like,
yeah, but you're not, it's weird because you're not watching it, you're watching it sometimes and then you're speaking to other people, and I don't like turning up at grounds and watching when you're not a manager, because people always go, what's he doing
here?
And I'm never about that, I'm always there just to watch a game. I was going to watch Sunday games, you know what I mean? But I just turn up sometimes and then I go, do you know what, I don't want to go into that game because people will think I'm after his job, and I'm not about that, do you know what I mean? And that is the basics. So I was in New York, me and the wife for my 40th in November, and I just got a direct text, and I always remember Bellew Usyk was fighting. I was in Carr's bar, sitting there, eating some wings, having a little drink, enjoying myself, loving life.
Forgotten about.
And I got a little Twitter text off Dan Roberts.
Oh right, yeah, it's Scam secretary.
Scam secretary, and he just texted me saying, look, our manager's been relieved of his duties, would you like to have a chat with us?
Who's the manager at the time?
Dave Powell.
Right.
So
not Dave's first rodeo, that was it. Bloody hell.
I'm only joking. Not his first rodeo.
I'm only joking. I do see he lives in the same village as me, Dave. So I always wind him up about that. So,
but he just parted with him apparently that day or that night. Do you know what I mean? And it was just a little text he sent and just said, "Would I be interested?" I was text back saying, "Yeah, the club as big as Scam, obviously." I then looked at the table and they were 0 points, or they weren't 0 points, they were bottom.
I bet you were thinking I better put this bottle of lager.
They were cut adrift. So you're having a couple and you're eating wings and you're made up and you're thinking, do you know what, I'll speak to you. So I sent her, I will speak to you and see where it goes. The only thing is I'm in New York till Thursday, Friday morning sort of thing. He texts back saying, okay, we're doing interviews, we'll speak to you when you're back. I come back, Thursday night I come back and I was jet lagged. I drove to JMO and met Paul Griffiths, Norman, Dan was there, the committee were there. And you know when you just go there and you just get a feel. They were boss people, they just got a feel for them. I didn't mean I got the job, but they were like, the lads are saying out there, Paul Griffiths, fantastic fella, salt of the earth, couldn't speak any highly of him. And he's like, can you do this, we don't expect you to stay in the league, we know that. Budget was pony, as we know, do you know what I mean? Players didn't know how bad he was, and that's no disrespect to them, but I really didn't know what I was walking into, do you know what I mean? And the next morning he said we'll get back to you, and he phoned me at 9 o'clock the next morning and said, it's your job. I said, well, okay, I don't know any of the team, you're playing Mosley at home on Saturday, I can't take that team. Get whoever's naming it, blah blah. Yeah, but we want you in the dugout. So I went, I'll stand in the dugout. I'd never met the players till 1 o'clock on that Saturday. So I'm walking in and I'm like, all right lads, and it's a team that's full of kids, and I was just like, where do we go here?
Bit of a melting pot, isn't it? For kids.
And it was an eye opener because I just went in and I just said, look, I'm not being all big and that. You're the bottom of the league. He's the bottom of the league for the reason. Let's just stick together and let's see where we go. I've come in here, I want to be winning. Let's try and get us out of it. And they were all like on board, do you know what I mean? Luke Duffy was there.
Right.
So whoever picked
I didn't even know that.
Get how crazy this is. Whoever picked that team that day put Luke Duffy on the bench.
Oh wow.
So in the warm-up, I'm going... Tom Robinson comes up to me and goes, can I just speak to you? And I went, yeah. And he went... whoever's picked that team, he said, I know it's not you who's picked that team, they've made the wrong decision there. And I went, why? He went, him there is the best player in this team. And I went, alright mate, so let me have a little look in the warm-up and then I'll have a look in the game, then I'll try and get him on at some point. Spoke to the kid, Luke, he looked like he was going to cry, and I was like, watched him in the warm-up and he was outstanding. And I was like, who never picked this team. He's trying to get me to sack already.
Yeah.
But I got him on, and I played him in the game after. I played him on the wing. He was more of a 10 he wanted to play, but I said, you're a winger. Put him out wide. The next game was against Lower Breck, wasn't it? And he was outstanding. And the next week, Lower Breck come in for him.
Right.
Lower Breck take him.
Right, yeah.
Because he plays for the Oyster on a Sunday, he knew the lads and that, so...
And that's what, do you know what, I've had a couple of messages when people say to me, they said, like, you're talking to managers and stuff, and they're like, what do you mean they just take them? And so, like, for anybody who doesn't know, there's a thing called a 7-day notice of approach. So a team for a non-contracted player can put in, they inform the club that they're putting in a 7-day notice of approach, and then if the club don't deal with it in terms of like putting them on a contract or whatever, they're free to talk to that club. So that's what it is. I've had about 4 or 5 messages going, well, how can you just move on?
When I say took them, like obviously Gary speaks to me, I know Gary well, do you know what I mean? But they literally just said, he plays with the Oyster, and I was like, Luke, and he was like, my mates played there. They could offer him more money as well, do you know what I mean? And what we were paying him, I think he was on 20 quid. Yeah. So Skem were all getting 20 quid players,
right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was getting 20 quid myself.
Yeah.
But it wasn't about that though, do you know what I mean? It was more about trying to build something, and the fact that he moved, I was gutted, do you know what I mean? But look where he is now, do you know what I mean? I could see that potential anyway. He reminds me of Steve McManaman, how he
is very nimble and just goes past people.
But he's got a bit of bite to him as well. But he was only still in his early days there, so he was worried. Was he Evo stick level then? Maybe not. Maybe he needed to drop to play that level. And
I can't remember who the player was for who played against us. We were playing. Carlton Palmer was in charge, and I can't remember the call. Grantham. Playing Grantham away. And he had this centre-half, I can't remember his name, he played Football League, and he must have been, no joke Mark, he must have been 40. And he like me, he built like me, had a big gut and everything. And Luke had rinsed him about 3 times in the opening 10 minutes. We were 1-0 up. Luke, and you know, he's got loads of heart, and he's gone up with him, and you're going, don't even go there, we're 1-0 up or whatever. And he's just gone, wallop, elbowed him. Right on the bridge of his nose, bust his nose, big slice on his nose. He had to come off, and he was absolutely tearing him a new one, you know. But great player, like you say.
No, he is. And like I say, no one really remembers him playing for Skem.
I didn't even know he was there.
That's what I'm saying. So he was there, and I literally only had him for 2 games. Do you know what I mean? And I was gutted. I was like, I could have got something out of this kid. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it is what it is. He moved on. Like there was a couple of there was lads there like that were out of academies, they were fresh out of academies, so they don't understand non-league, and there was no experience in the team. And the biggest eye-opener for me was going to Colwyn Bay, and they'd been beaten 9-0 previously, or 9-1 previously by Addington Collieries in the season, and I wasn't involved in footy at the time. I was out of the game, and I remember looking at the Sky Sports ticket, and it was all over, 9-1, and you're like, whoa, what's going on there? Well, I had my 9-1s, didn't I? I had a 9-0 against Colwyn Bay. Oof. And I was like...
Long way to go for him, that.
And do you know what? Colwyn Bay were a good side. Yeah. They were really good.
Yeah.
And you go in there with a team full of kids, and probably, sounds bad, but not good enough for that level. Not even North West Counties Division 1, some of them, do you know what I mean? And you go in there and playing, and 9-0, the goal went in after a couple of minutes, and I'm like, just be compact, don't let them score, do you know what I mean? Like talking to that. Do you know what I mean? We set the shape up, we worked on the shape and training and everything, and that goes out the window, and you're like...
They were I just weren't up to it?
No, so they had, I think Raul Correa plays, I think he played.
Right.
Lasana Diarra, is it? The one who plays for... Is it Mendes? Lasana Mendes? I think Lasana Diarra played for Real Madrid.
Didn't he,
yeah, it was him. He was a Walesy.
No, he got good 9-0.
No, it was one of Lasana Mendes, I think it was. He was highly rated anyway. And James Barragan was playing full back, and Andy Coughlin and goal. They had a super team, do you know what I mean? And 9-0, and I remember coming off, and my dad was with me. My dad followed me all the time, and I walked across in the stands, and all the Colwyn Bay fans are clapping and going, you're getting sacked in the morning. And I looked at them and I said, I hope so, because it'll do me a favour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And after that, I went in the dressing room and I just said, look, let's be honest with each other. This is like 10 games from the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, let's be honest with each other. And then someone like, that's me done, do you know what I mean? That's me done. And I said, I'd rather just have kids who are just going to run through a brick wall for me and do what I ask, do you know what I mean? So we had a few fallings out, players moved on, I brought players in. We got through the season, we won, we beat Kendal. It was a shame because Kendal were probably worse than us, but they stayed in the league and we beat them, but we just didn't accumulate enough points because we were playing like Adderton Collieries, Prescott Cables, on the running, Colne, and you had the toughest running going, so you think, do you know what I mean?
I think the rot had set in at Skemby.
Oh, it had gone.
I'm not even saying that season, it probably gone from, you know, a couple of years.
But I didn't know though, I've just gone there blind, me ego thinking, I'm going to keep these up.
Everybody thinks you can tame the tiger, don't you? You all think that you'd back yourself
thinking, we're only what? And I remember my words to Paul Griffiths, we're only 9 points away, do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's easily overturnable, 9 points from safety or 9 points from finishing third or fourth. And he was like, I know. And I was dead enthusiastic and they backed me. Yeah. They could have, look, you're around that area, they could have got rid of me. I don't know how they could have, but they could have got rid of me because there was a consortium who were wanting to get involved. And it was bringing Tommy back, do you know what I mean? And Paul Griffiths pulled me and he said, I always remember it, the night of the Kendal game, he pulled me and said, look Paul, I need to tell you, there's the old chain wants to take over again and well, I put some money in and keep us up. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah. And he said, they want Tommy to back the manager. And I said, look, if that's the case, then tell me, do you know what I mean? And he said, no, we're going with you, you're still a young manager. Yeah. And do you know what? That gave me such a lift, do you know what I mean? Because I was like, he's a massive name, Tommy, he's a big main manager. And I was like, do you know what? Yeah. And that was half why I was loyal as well. Because they were loyal to me early doors. And then obviously we built. He said, no, we can see you going places here. The next season was still rocky though. We were in the counties and we didn't get all of our own way, but it was rebuilding still.
Do you think it needed that nobody wants to go down.
It did. It hurts me saying it because you don't want to be, when you're in this league that you're in now, the Evo stick or the pitching in, it's like being at a proper real football match. So when you drop out of it, you're forgotten. Yeah. You go down to the division below, as great as teams there are, you're forgotten, you're out of the limelight. Yeah. But in this league, everyone loves you or everyone knows you. Yeah. The division below, you've got to fight for that right. And we dropped down and it's hard, you're in transition again then, you're bringing players in. I got a better team. Yeah. We won some, we lost some, we were going through it. And I signed a few big players then. Ben Barnes was my biggest signing. Yeah. I signed him, he was my first rock. I said, I want a good goalkeeper, I want centre halves, I want midfielders and a forward.
You got exactly that, because I remember I went to a game. When was it? I've not been to many Skem games, as you know, since we went, but I can't remember what game it was, and I said, fuck me, he's got some spine in this team. And I think it was Ben Barnes in goal, Grogan and Joe Herbert, and then he had Kenny Strickland and
Sam Sheen.
Yeah, I think it was Sam Sheen. And then Mitch up front, and I'm like, fucking hell, that's. And then dude,
could have been Josh Pete and Lloyd Ellams. They were playing, weren't they? Lloyd Ellams.
I think Kenny was definitely in there.
So that would have been near enough last season or the season, would have been.
And I thought, fucking hell, for
experience at that level,
well, that is.
So what I used to say last season, like, that wasn't just one season, that was a culmination of that. Of the club backing me, of me getting the right players, me knocking on people's doors, do you know what I mean? Because early doors, I was asking players to play for me and they were like, fuck off. Yeah. And I'd be like, well, come down today, and they were like laughing, how much have you got? Do you know what I mean? And that's the first thing, and you're like, we haven't played at this level though, I'm
giving you an opportunity.
And they're like, no.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there was loads of things like that you were fighting against. Then, like I signed Ben, Grogan, later on, do you know what I mean? I signed Grogan, he was immense, isn't he, do you know what I mean? For the dressing room, and also what a player he is. And I also had that link, because he was at Camel Aids with us when under Sully, and I had that link with him anyway. So, Joe Herbert, what a player, so underrated, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just kept putting these bricks in, slowly.
Every sort of one of them players has had, like, a lot of games.
Yeah.
Higher, haven't they, you know?
But they knew, and you're getting them in, and then standards start to rise.
Yeah.
Even Brody, I got Brody in, and just getting him in alongside, do you know what I mean? Standards raised again. He served his purpose as a forward for us. Done his job, do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. We did move on, do you know what I mean? I was getting players in. Some players were Sunday League players, and then I was moving them on.
Yeah.
Bringing players in. Like, people might not think that they're great players. Like Alex Davies and that, players who've been around, who are 7 out of 10s, 8 out of 10s every week, that no one else wants.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the best compliment I can give to the team, look, the icing on the cakes is Mikey Howard, Elliot and Mitch last season. They're the icing on the cakes. They scored 80 odd goals between the three of them. But the best compliment I can give was, someone said to me, wow, that team that you've got, most of them are like average players. And I was like, are you messing? But he said, I don't take that the wrong way, but they're not, you're getting the best out of them. So I took that as a compliment then, like, well, we've got a team, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? And that's how it was last season. So the FA Cup team was probably worse than the team that I had last season. 100%. But the FA Cup team had more bollocks. Had more fight, would grind out a win. Than the team that I had last season.
How was that
it's
for
crazy,
you? Like
that.
The sort of fanfare about it, because you're the lowest ranked team still in the competition at one point, weren't you? You know when. And then to get to. That was one thing I always said when we were at Skem, we were dying. I said I would love to get to an FA Cup first round.
Do you know what? Because they've got that history, haven't they? Because they've been there before, and the Wembley trips and that. And at any other club, that would have been like, you would have been like a king. But because they've done it before, it's just, and also like, look, COVID was in, so people sort of disregard it, but I still think it's a massive achievement, and I'm proud of that fact that for, I think it was 25 years, that it was the last North West Counties team that got to the first round, Newcastle Town.
Right.
They were a fantastic team at that time, so they were the last team that got there, and I was proud of that, because to beat, look, we beat Penistone Church at home 3-2, we were 2-0 down at half time, come back, rolled the dice and won 3-2, last minute winner. We beat Bootle 2-1, Bootle, bear in mind, are in our league. Ben Hodgkinson scored, we beat them 2-1. We then went to, where did we go to? Congleton.
Right.
Sorry, we went to Congleton before Bootle, we beat Congleton, we were getting battered, beat them 2-1. Then went to Lancaster, come to us, which was the biggest game. Lancaster come to us, and we done a number on them, we beat them 2-1.
You played Stafford in that run?
Played Stafford the game before the one.
Oh,
so
right,
we then, after we played Lancaster, if I remember rightly, we played Longridge, at Longridge. 300 fans in, all Longridge fans. Longridge, fantastic team, Tom Inson, all that playing. Bopped us off the park. We went down to 10 men after about 20 minutes. Josh Peake got sent off, and we won 1-0. We missed the penalty, and we scored one, and I don't know how we won, and I'm telling you, but we won with 10 men. And there's a picture of Grogan hugging me, and he's crying, he's got tears in his eyes, because even he said, look, I've done some things and that, but what we're doing is great quality.
They'll be talking about that till you say, he'll meet up with lads. I said this last week. You might not see them for 10 years, and you'll recall stuff like that.
That team, like, I mean, promotion teams, it's special, do you know what I mean? But that team's got some kind of special affinity, do you know what I mean? It's like the camaraderie and that, and some of the laughs and that, and that dressing room. That was some dressing room,
Yeah.
and so was the one last season as well. Do you know what I mean?
It's too, like, you know, from when you went in, where there was a rotted setting basically from things that had happened previously, to then get it where it was, brilliant achievement. Then you come up, obviously this year, really good start.
Yeah.
Really good start. And then
boom.
What happened? So basically, you're now here, but at City of Liverpool. But what happened? What happened? What was the?
Look, there's a lot of people gone on behind the scenes, hasn't
Because that's what I mean. I mean, to be honest with you, I was on the Skelmersdale United Sports page on Facebook a couple of weeks ago.
I'm getting a dog's life.
He was, and I went on and said, like, I can't understand this, like, you know.
My wife's told me. My wife was on there.
Yeah, and I was like, I can't understand this, you know.
Do you know
the job he's done for
Do you know what, right? I don't know half of them people who were writing that, do you know what I mean?
Never do I. I was there for years.
My son says, oh yeah, I've seen him once or twice watching a match. But would he watch him when we were awful? Would he there?
Exactly
or
right,
did he bandwagon jumpers? The real people who were there, Dave spoke to me, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Norman Fenny's obviously, he's told me what he thinks of me, do you know what I mean?
I've had
that was at the game.
I've had that.
That was at the game, and look, I can understand that, and I can take that. That's football, and I keep saying, like, you've said something that I said, oh, that's football. No, there's a bit of needle over it, because I've left them, and look, I never intentionally left them. I haven't left them in the shite. They were third in the league.
Yeah.
Third position in the Evo stick.
Yeah.
So, let's put that into perspective and go, where are they now?
Yeah.
Would I have kept them there? Who knows? But I know that I had a good group of lads, and I know that I put 9 points on that board.
Yeah.
And I know that I come to this club and I had 0 points.
Yeah.
So, if they're thankful for something, them 9 points could be the reason that they stay in the league. So they should be thankful for me.
Yeah.
It's not personal. I loved the club, and I really did. And I didn't. The circumstances you leave a club in, they'd have sacked me quickly, wouldn't they? So, what am I meant to do? Am I meant to stay there for the rest of my life? Which I would have. But when an opportunity comes along and you think you can better yourself, then I think I owe it to myself to then push on. And I think that was the time, and do you know what I mean? It's not ideal, do you know what I mean? Les and that Les Gallup, they used to come to me and say, oh, teams will come in for you. No team did. And I'll be honest, no team ever did. They didn't come in and go, we want you here, we want this.
Yeah.
Even after that FA Cup run. But now, when I did get an opportunity to come to a club, they begrudge me. And why?
Yeah.
Why would you begrudge me?
Yeah.
And that's not, whether City of Liverpool a bigger club or a smaller club, that's irrelevant. But I was travelling up and down the motorway, Tuesday, Thursday. I put my health on the line, and I'll be honest, I had like a health problem last season when we were going for the promotion, because I put myself under that much stress and that much pressure that they know. I've had problems with my home life and everything, do you know what I mean, while I was there, and they supported me. That's fantastic. But people on the outside don't see this, do you know what I mean? They just slag me off, and like the two people who were there know what I work. Kev Panthers texts me privately, and he's a boss fella, and Tommy Garner, and I can't like specify them enough how much the boss people, and Paul Griffiths, honestly, really boss fella, and I can't speak highly enough of them, and I really do love Skem, and they think I don't, but it's just, football's one of them sports, you fish and chip paper, and I'll go back to that. I'll go back that with fish and chip paper. If I weren't doing my job, I would have been out of a job. So they should be thankful that I've got them promoted. By the way, got them promoted on not the biggest budget in the league, nowhere near it, and we punched above our weight because we went toe to toe with Macclesfield.
I mean, you can't argue with that.
No,
like, if you're in,
do you know what I mean?
Side like
you have done that when you were against Chester, Halifax's, and this is similar, but this is Macclesfield. And this is like they had professional players playing for them, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we went toe to toe with them, and we had them on the rack.
Yeah.
But we just didn't have the resources to cope with them over the longevity. We went to them on January the 29th last season, and we were top of the league.
Yeah.
Top of the league, we went there, and it was them and us. We were top on goal difference. They beat us 2-1. Sorry, was it 2-1? Yeah, 2-1 or 3-1. My marbles have lost on that one, but they beat us, and deservedly so, but they then never lost a game from then till the end of the season, whereas we wobbled because I didn't have the squad depth of them.
And they can just keep bringing them in.
And they did, do you know what I mean? But what I did have was a group of players that was, look, we went there on the bank holiday Monday.
Yeah.
We got promoted in the playoff final on the Saturday. My lads were still out Sunday, and I told them, stay out. I said, stay out. I don't care if you turn up with a bottle of bud in your hands on Monday, because we've done our job. And I tell you what, we went and beat them 3-2. Yeah. And whether they say they were interested or not, but half of the lads were still pissed, and they turned them over, and it was boss. And we went and got beat on the Saturday by Charnock, but you know what, that was us done. That was our season, putting amends, sort of that right, do you know what
like
I mean?
A little bit of redemption as well, can it? Because you come in and they're in total free fall, and then you take them back.
And you know what, Robbie Savage, he said to me, he's phoned me, and he was saying, well done, do you know what I mean? He phoned me after they beat us, and I said, would you have phoned me if thingy? But he said he would have. He didn't phone me when we drew 0-0 with them. So look, it is what it is. It's the way they are, where they're going, do you know what I mean? They're on a different trajectory, and I knew that we had to push on, do you know what I mean, at that time. And could we have went toe to toe with them this season? Probably not. No, do you know what I mean? And you've only got that short shelf life with them, haven't you? Really? They're going places. They're going to end up back in the league. I think even conference, do you know what I mean? Or they're going to hit a ceiling and thingy. But good luck to them, as you say. I've got no grudges, and I just think last season we didn't even have anywhere near. Wythenshawe Town had a bigger budget. I'm hearing other teams have had bigger budgets, so I was just like, but we were getting told we had this crazy budget. I didn't have a player on over £120. £120 was the most, and I don't care if anyone knows that, do you know what I mean? So there's people going around saying, oh, there's people on £200-300 in football. Well, I know what I can hold on my kids.
You know,
Well, that I never had a budget that was nowhere near anyone like at that top half, do you know what I mean? So even like there's other teams around, do you know what I mean? And I don't know what they get, but we weren't in the top half of budgets. Do you know what I mean? So I'm proud of that we went there, and I think the fans and the people around the club should be proud, and immensely proud of. They backed me, I delivered, and it's not. Look, it wasn't just me delivering; it was me staff, Graham. Graham's immense, do you know what I mean? And what he does, and we don't get enough credit. Do you know what I mean? I don't want the credit. Do you know what I mean? But people around the club, do you know what I mean? We didn't get enough credit for what we did, and like I say, didn't get manager of the year. I don't want manager of the year. Do you know what I mean? But things like that, like it was David and Goliath, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? We never pushed on, and this season would have always been about just staying in the league. I'll be honest, it would have always been about just staying in the league, and seeing where we went from that then, do you know what I mean?
Well, we're just going to call it a day anyway.
We're going to call it a day.
Paul, best of luck for the rest of the season, mate.
Thank you,
All right, mate.
Appreciate that, mate.
No problem.
Because it went on for about 10 days there.